just want to say to Jamaica that no matter what's going on right now, Jamaica is my country and it will never change. And I will always love my country and always do everything in my power to uplift this country no matter what's going on.
Thank you, Usain Bolt. Thank you for the vote of confidence in and support for Jamaica, especially now. Good day. This is the 56th episode of the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast. Thank you for liking and sharing. And if you haven't yet done so, please subscribe. Remember, we invite you to go on the channel and leave a comment. Usain Bolt's comments last Friday at the launch of the Gibson Relays, one of Jamaica's gems, by the way, came at a time when many Jamaicans are very cynical about the country, negative about its institutions and its future, really. Frankly speaking, the track legend's comments come at a time when his own experience with loss and suffering as Stocks and Securities Ltd could have caused him to question his own judgment, not just about Jamaica's financial system, but about his decision as a world star to keep this island as his home. Those comments come at a time too when there are many more people who are despairing and disdainful of the prospects for change and a better Jamaica. Frankly speaking, they point to SSL and the waves it has generated as yet more reason that this country is damaged goods, as a leading hotelier once described Jamaica. In the instance, you, Mr. Bolt, a superstar, have been made victim. You are able to lift your head up and say, I'm a Jamaican.
It's tough enough, but I think through the years of competing, I helped me to understand and just focus on what's the matter. I leave the matter in my lawyer's hand, you understand? I'm just trying to focus on my family and try not to think too much about it because it's a stressful situation.
Yes, it has been hard. Yes, he said he's not broke, but those funds estimated at just under 13 million US dollars were put aside for him and his family. And that represented years of hard work at doing almost the impossible. It seems to be gone, and it didn't have to be that way. Jamaicans are used to being anxious and waiting to watch Bolt race to see what new feat he would accomplish. We are not used to waiting to hear him speak. But for 2 weeks now, having heard that he lost close to 13 million US dollars in the fraud as Stocks and Securities Ltd, Jamaicans have been waiting to hear from the man who used to speak so eloquently, so delightfully with his feet. On Friday he did.
I just want to say to Jamaica that no matter what's going on right now, Jamaica is my country and it will never change, and I will always love my country and always do everything in my power to uplift this country no matter what's going on.
And those who know him say that was Bolt speaking from the heart. That came against the flow of a widening and deepening stream of cynicism and negativity about Jamaica and its prospects and its processes. Not just the securities or financial institutions. There's a lot being said about them, yes, but also about our relations and our politics and our continuing failures, we, the mimic men. In recent years, in occasions still fresh in the memory, Bolt was often relied on with his colleagues in track to lift the nation again and again, thus that we have taken it for granted with a kind of sense of beleaguered entitlement. We all know he could be living elsewhere, as so many of our countrymen do. He chose to stay, as so many of our countrymen have. But he's not the ordinary man. So for him to give that expression of patriotism, of commitment to this country, is huge. In the instance, Bolt's heartwarming, heartfelt comments are great to hear. They are not an endorsement of what's going on at all. They are, though, a clear statement of his abiding love for the country he so valiantly put on the map. Yet, even in the face of Bolt's stout-hearted patriotism, we are still asking for answers, still waiting to see the charges being laid, still hoping that this is not just the latest episode in a saga stretching back to the collapse of the financial sector in the 1990s, to FinSac, and the thousands of lives destroyed, businesses hurt, and to Cash Plus and Olint and the others. We wait. Crystal Cameron last week said her farewell as a contributor to the Frankly Speaking Jamaica podcast, and her comments are relevant and supportive to the points I'm making here this week. Ms. Cameron is a young businesswoman, the type of whom we would be better for more in Jamaica. Bright, forthright, truthful, and enterprising. One who recognizes the world's her stage. I'd like you to listen again to the latter part of her farewell comments.
Has many opportunities: geographic location, agricultural capability of the land, recognizability brought to us by Bob Marley and Usain Bolt and even the Shower Posse. With all that potential, possibilities would seem nearly limitless. However, possibilities are limited because, again, a country is its people as well as its natural resources. The issue at the root is the cutting away of a significant portion of Jamaica's body due to the higher class, managerial and business owning class migrating within such a short period. That wasn't merely a wound, it was a cutting off of a part of the Jamaican body that's cast shadows into our present, and I believe will continue to cast shadows into our future. All this potential, but ultimately, unless something happens that brings the majority of people in the diaspora back to Jamaica, because as I've said before, I think we've reached a critical mass, a loss of morals, even more people seem unhinged, and the world is about to go into what could be a very tumultuous age of energy, fertilizer and food insecurity. I'd like to think that at some point in the future Jamaica might have nuclear energy, because we need to jump that hurdle of cheap energy in order to become a more productive country. It's a pity that in my farewell to you I can't put down something more optimistic, but frankly at the core there needs to be such a huge change in terms of the mindset of Jamaican people and the reduction of the reprobate behavior that makes it so hard for us to trust each other in our society. But do I see it happening? No. Do I want to be around to watch this steady decline of the morals, of the families, of the children, of the government, of the currency? No. The more I think about the purpose of life, the more I think about what other purpose could there be to life except life itself. Life is the point of life, and making new life, leaving my mark on the future through my children. The more it dawns on me that at the core is my purpose on this earth, the more I think, how can I do that to the best of my ability? And the freeing thing that I've admitted to myself is that I don't think I can do it here.
It is apropos my comments about this land and Bolt. Thanks to Crystal Cameron for her contribution over these several weeks. She made, frankly speaking, better. Now to Desmond Richards.
Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark has now acknowledged that the Financial Securities Commission submitted a 2019 report on what was happening at SSL to his ministry in 2020. Yes, this week he told the media that he discovered the report, but he was not aware of it. So it was submitted to his office, but he was not aware of it. Listeners and viewers will recall the minister denying ever seeing or hearing any report on SSL during his tenure. And he also told us that his predecessor Harley Shaw, has never seen one. So the 2019 report, according to the minister, identified liquidity problems among other issues, and it spoke of recommendations made to the management of SLL about how to address these problems. Now, what else the minister was not aware of? What else? What else? We know that so far, two senior managers of SSL have denied any knowledge of any wrongdoing at the company. As a matter of fact, one of them was not aware that who was his largest customer. Obviously, they were not aware either that one worker stole $90 million from depositors' accounts. Now, what else? What do they know? What do they know? Right? One thing is clear is that the Financial Securities Commission failed on its job. They did not see the job, and that this is an institution that costs over $1 billion to operate per annum, but it failed on the job. Now, this is where there is a possibility that a successful lawsuit against the FSC could force taxpayers to pay for the money stolen. And that is why we would like the FBI, as a matter of fact, we want to know the terms of reference of the FBI. Because they have the expertise to go deep and far so that we can get to the bottom of this. We want to know how the money was taken, who took it, and where it is. The taxpayers cannot afford to bail out this entity. We cannot repeat 1990. Those responsible must pay. They must go to jail.
That's Desmond Richards, journalist and founder of Rebel Radio Jamaica. Endgame. Given all going on in the last few weeks, it may have passed your notice that in one of the country's police lockups, only a few feet from the guard room and the front desk at the Ocheries police station, inmates lit fire in a cell, beat another, stomped on him, dropped burning plastic all over him, and could have killed him there in what should be the safety of custody. And no one is responsible. That issue is not done with yet, though. Thank you for sharing this podcast. Please subscribe. Until then, on behalf of Desmond Richards and Crystal Cameron, I am Franklin McKnight.